Hello and welcome to Clever Pause. In today's video, I am working with a limited color palette. The concept of it is very much inspired by a mini series that Minnie Small posted earlier in the year. If you don't know Minnie, there will be a link in the description box below. A while back, I spent about one page in my sketchbook to just doodle down some thumbnails and make a few notes of very limited colors I thought might work in the execution of the art. So instead of being inspired by a color, I sketched out a great number of scenes and then thought about what colors are the absolute necessary ones to represent any given landscape. As usual, a list of all the materials used can be found in the description below. The initial plan would have been to only use different greens and one brown from my White Niights watercolor set, but in the end I added a little bit of cerulean blue for the very top of the sky and also mixed it with the brown for the final wash I applied over the entire piece. At the same time of working with a highly limited color palette, it gave me an opportunity to practice washes with watercolor. The final piece has a lot of the feel of what we would call a soft day in Ireland. It basically means a day with a lot of drizzle, maybe some short breaks, but no real sunshine breaking through the cloud cover. I have been experimenting a good bit with my illustrations over the past couple of months, and there are still a lot of things I want to try out in the near future. But a few days ago, I looked at a number of my pieces from the period together and ended up posting it on my Instagram. Of course, in that selection there is not really anything resembling a style showing, but it got me wondering what it really meant and how important it really is. And for myself, I answered that question with, well, it depends on one's goals. If one, for instance, wants to work for one particular studio, it is hugely important that their style is part of at least one's consistent repertoire, but the whole art journey is not so much about finding or arriving at your style. To any studio, of course, it is important that their commercial output is instantly recognizable as their work or their product, be that a daily cartoon in a newspaper or an animated 2-hour feature film. When I illustrated the children's book last year, the key was consistency, especially with the characters, but the illustrations vary. Some are to move the story along visually, where others have much more detail to them or are designed to convey an emotion. But where I typically use a lot of color in my art, the illustrations in the book are grayscale with only the slightest hint of color in some small parts. It also meant I could not hide behind the use of color, and I sure learned a lot about value through it. But I suppose the first question is, what is style to begin with? Mainly, that is what makes your art recognizable as yours, and that can be anything from colors, how you draw noses, or the materials you use. And in the end, style really is a combination of a number of aspects one utilizes in art or illustrations regularly. One thing that is part of my style is that when I draw human or humanoid faces, I don't add eyelashes. And while it is not part of this piece, I like using crisp line art too. I have done lineless pieces, and this one certainly is one of them. I found that while line work can be a crutch, it is something I really enjoy incorporating into my illustrations. Having said that, I think I will keep working on pieces like it, both as value studies and to have more options for background. But for it to become really part of my style, I would need to use that technique on a much more regular basis. So, to sum it up, your style is what shows your art off as yours, and the more art experience you have, the more you know which elements there are that make up your style, and the more deliberate your decisions. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you next week.